it suddenly occurred to me that I have never discussed The Jungle Book on this channel. I have discussed The Jungle Book 2, and I think I reviewed the live action remake, but I've never discussed Disney's 1967 film. And I think the reason for that is because I'm not, compared to a lot of people at least, I'm not the biggest fan of The Jungle Book, but I used to be. This was one of the films that I had on VHS, like many children growing up in the 90s, and I watched it a lot. I was a big fan of Bagheera because I love big cats, always drawn to those characters, and the songs in it are phenomenal. So I thought I'd revisit it, have another look at it, and see if it kind of stood up to my memory, and honestly, it does. The animation quality is not as sharp as I remember it, but that's, it was released in 1967, what can you expect? But I do think it's pretty amazing. It's darker than I remember, darker in certain ways, but ultimately it's great fun, and it doesn't surprise me that this will probably forever be a classic. It was directed by Wolfgang Reitherman, based on Rudyard Kipling's book, The Jungle Book, of course, and it tells the story of Mowgli, who is being raised in the jungle in India by wolves to begin with, and then he starts to spend a lot of time with Bagheera, who is a beautiful panther, who actually is a little rough around the edges when you look at how he's animated. He's got kind of very angular features, compared to Baloo, who is a rather large bear who has very soft, curvy features. Very interesting to see kind of the contrast in the way they've both been animated, but visually I think they look brilliant. And Mowgli, having grown up, is in a bit of a difficult situation. I say he's grown up, he's still a young boy. Not entirely sure how old he is, but I'd guess about 8 years old. If anybody knows how old he is officially, feel free to let me know. But Bagheera tries to encourage Mowgli to walk to the village and find himself a human family, because Shere Khan, this incredible Bengal tiger, is aware of Mowgli and is basically setting out to kill Mowgli. And Bagheera realizes the jungle can no longer be a safe place for Mowgli, who is older and obviously walking about now and exploring, and he could get himself into some real danger. And Bagheera has to try and convince him to leave the jungle. Baloo doesn't really want him to leave the jungle at all, but he is torn between keeping his friend and doing what is right for Mowgli's safety. And along this journey, as they try and convince him and they head towards the village, and then Mowgli does various things, they encounter some pretty interesting characters, including Carr, who is a python, who has the very iconic "Trust in Me," which was the most appalling interpretation ever, but you know what I mean. And of course, Shere Khan just always seems to be around. He always seems to be nearby, and it's really dark and menacing. And Shere Khan, I think, is one of the most underrated Disney villains. That's not to say nobody likes Shere Khan or that he doesn't get any attention, but at the same time, I feel like he needs even more attention. We have some amazing, incredible songs. I believe it was the Sherman brothers who did the majority of the songs. They are fantastic, of course, and I think the most iconic is definitely the Bare Necessities, and also I Want to Be Like You, but I have to give some praise to Colonel Hathi's March, because I absolutely love it. The music for this is definitely what makes it the most iconic, but the story as well is very sweet and very moving, and the setting, because it's set in a jungle, there are a lot of opportunities for danger and for things that can cause problems for Mowgli and the other characters, and I think they utilise the space very well. It is, as I said, very well animated and something that I will always enjoy, even though I hadn't seen it for quite a while. As soon as I started watching it again, it all came flooding back to me. If you haven't seen it in a while either, I do strongly suggest you revisit it. It doesn't surprise me that The Jungle Book, the 1967 animation, will remain a classic forever.